In 1993, she was sitting in a cold Edinburgh flat, unemployed, recently divorced, and raising a baby daughter alone on welfare. She had a university degree, no job, and a stack of handwritten pages she carried around in a diaper bag. This is the story of how a broke single mother's manuscript, rejected again and again, became one of the best-selling book series in human history. And why hitting bottom is not the same as being finished. Her name was Joanne Rowling. Before the world knew her as J.K. Rowling, she was just a woman trying to survive one week to the next. She had studied French and classics at university, worked as a bilingual secretary, a researcher, a teacher, nothing that ever felt like it fit. In her mid-20s, her mother died after a long illness. Rowling was devastated, and grief followed her into a short, unhappy marriage that ended within a year, leaving her a single mother with an infant daughter and almost nothing to her name. She moved back to the UK with a suitcase and a manuscript she'd been quietly writing for years, an idea she'd first sketched out on a delayed train, 4 years earlier, about a boy who discovers he's a wizard. She wrote in cafés, because her apartment was unheated and she couldn't afford to run the heater during the day. She'd order one coffee, nurse it for hours, and write longhand while her daughter slept in the stroller beside her. By her own account, this was the lowest point of her life. She has since spoken openly about being suicidal, about surviving on welfare, about feeling like a complete failure by every standard she'd set for herself. But she kept writing. When the manuscript was finally finished, she sent it out to literary agencies and publishers. It came back rejected. Then rejected again. 12 publishing houses turned down Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, some without reading past the first few pages. Picture that for a moment. A single mother, broke, clinically depressed, mailing out envelope after envelope of a story about a boy wizard, and hearing nothing back but silence, or a polite no, month after month. Then a small London publisher, Bloomsbury, took a chance on it. Not because they were confident it would succeed. The first print run was just 500 copies, most of them sent straight to libraries. The advance she received was around £1,500. Her editor reportedly told her not to quit her day job, because children's books rarely made anyone any money. She didn't have a day job to quit. What happened next unfolded slowly, then all at once. Word of mouth among children and librarians began to spread. The book found an American publisher. Then a second book. A third. By the time the series was finished, it had sold hundreds of millions of copies in over 80 languages, inspiring a film franchise, theme parks, and a devoted global readership that spans generations. Joanne Rowling went from calculating whether she could afford to heat her apartment, to becoming one of the best-selling authors alive, and eventually giving away so much of her fortune to charity that she reportedly dropped off the billionaire lists entirely, by choice. It didn't start with connections, or money, or a guaranteed plan. It started with a woman at her lowest point, who kept writing anyway. It's easy to believe that once you've hit bottom, once you've failed, lost everything, been told no by everyone who mattered, the story is basically over. That rock bottom is where the ending gets written. Joanne Rowling was broke, grieving, and rejected by 12 publishers, and she still became one of the most successful storytellers in modern history. Rock bottom is not a verdict. It's just a place you're passing through. So if you're carrying a manuscript of your own, a project, an idea, a version of your life you keep starting and stopping, maybe the next page is the one that changes everything. It's never too late to keep writing your story.